a bit. And Anthony Hopkins, if anybody knows who he is, he's a big back like Mays is, out of the same system out of Blinn. Um, Utah State, I do believe, is his only offer right now for whatever reason. Um, he's just a big dude. I think he's like 6'1", 6', 6'1", 200 and some pounds. Um, but yeah, he had a monster game, and he'll be visiting soon to Utah State. Go to the website and check it out. You see what games some of these guys are visiting. We'll be updating that once, hopefully after this week, bye week comes. I'm sure we'll hear about more recruiting news. Probably more offers will go out and stuff like that. But um, we'll be updating that. So check that out when we find out who's visiting for what
Yeah,
games.
offer week will be or offer week. The bye week will be huge for offers, and then yeah, we'll update the site whether it's day of or a couple days before. We'll definitely find out, and we'll get up. Definitely have some visitors and some news there, and that'll be on the premium forum. So definitely check it out. And you have to be a member. So yet again, another plug for Scout.com and the premium memberships that are available at ustateaggies.com. Um, Definitely get tons of information. That's how you're going to get the quickest, best information on the commits and visits and all that kind of stuff. And I know there's a lot of people out there that loved getting that first information and getting that inside information. That's what that's for. Um, so it seemed like on Twitter and some different things there was a lot of frustration about this Colorado State or excuse me this Air Force loss and this Boise State loss, USC loss. Obviously, the offensive coordinator is the most hated person in the according to fans, I guess. Fan bases love to complain about the offensive coordinator, and that's why I'm not in love with the idea of Matt Wells calling the plays. I think that opens him up and basically just opens him up for even more scrutiny and mistakes. I don't think if say he turned over the 100% of the play calling to Coach Bonite, I don't think things would look that much different, to be honest. But at the same time, um, I don't think it'd be worse. So there's different issues on every play. It's hard to complain about every play call and every the offensive line or offensive coordinator all the time because there's times the offensive line doesn't get it done. There's times the quarterback doesn't make it happen. The receiver doesn't catch the ball or run the right route. So I mean, there's so many things to complain about. I don't know about you, Seth, but it seems like the biggest complaints are that play calling and the screen pass calls and all and that kind of thing. So I got a DM from somebody, and they were supposedly an Aggie fan. I don't know. I didn't really look at it that much or look into who it was, but this person DM'd me and said, "Hey, you should really get the ball rolling on this Les Miles to Utah State rumor." And I'm like, uh, okay, that's funny because there is no rumor that Les Miles is coming to Utah State, and Utah State has a head coach in Matt Wells and a good staff at that. And I don't know, you tell me your opinion, Seth, but and maybe I'm too close to the situation, but this coaching staff and really every coaching staff, they're just humans. They're just guys that put in a lot of hours and that have played football and coached football for years, and they're just like you and I. They're just trying to do their best, and they're guys that like I say, they're trying to win games and they're trying to um, do a good job. They're working. I know for a fact they're working long hours and putting a lot of effort into it. Um, maybe some people listen to that and say, "Oh, well, we need um, extraordinary coaches. We need, guys that are just complete freaks of nature, maybe like Nick Saban or somebody. I don't know, but I don't even know if some of those guys that is Tom
Okay,
Herman a genius? Is he is his IQ higher and his some way somehow way better head coach than some other guy? I don't know. I just don't really buy into that necessarily. What do you think?
okay. So this isn't going to be popular, belief, obviously, by many of the fans right now, but um, you got to look at it this way, in my opinion. Um, Utah State, a lot of the fans have champagne taste on a beer budget. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
the athletic department, they want these coaches, and until Utah State can build and build and build, and I know they think that we're regressing and regressing and regressing, but you, you got to look at it as in who we've played. We've gone through three different defensive coordinators in the last 3 years, or two, or whatever it's been. They've gone through the same amount of offensive coordinators. Um, I know Wells is still there, and everybody's going to be like, Wells is calling the plays, and I do believe that he needs to distance himself from that, whether it's let Luke and, you know, Boak Knight take over
Hmm.
and they can call the plays and he can sit back and he can be in the room when they come up with the game plans, Coach Wells can or whatever needs to happen. But I think the best thing for him would be to kind of back away a little bit. And I know obviously Myers isn't the same quarterback as Chucky Keaton. I mean, they're just not the same. And when Myers is gone, the next guy's not going to be the same, you know. But you got to look at it as, I mean, Mays is hurt. We'd be running a lot of two tight end sets if Raymond was in there. That changes things. We lost basically all of our receivers from last year. You know, um, that's why it's the 2016 edition, not the 2015 or 14 or 12 or whatever. You know what I mean? Every year is different because of the new guys, and that's why I like college football so much because the expectations and is it a letdown? Yes, it's been a huge letdown. I've said in the other podcast, I was a little apprehensive about the defense. I'm all in on the defense now. I mean, those guys, the last 2 weeks, they've played more than good enough to win those games. But returning 9 starters on offense or 8 starters or whatever it is, and the way they've been playing the last couple of weeks, it just, and it's not that they've been playing. Like, take the Boise State game, for example. You know, you get the ball inside the red zone twice, and for whatever reason, we can move it, and then we get to the 50, then stuff starts to happen, And then the 2 times that we did get it down inside there, we score 3 points. And I said a tweet out about it. It's like 20% or 17% of the available points were scored inside the red zone, you know? And Matt Wells wants to be at 80%. I do believe, isn't it? I don't want to quote that wrong, but I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure he wants to
80%.
score 80% of the points. Well, they weren't even close. And it comes back to mistakes, and people are complaining about being 3 for 19 on third down or 3 for 16 or whatever it was. But you got to go back to the first down and what happened on first down. Penalties happened on first down probably 7 or 8 times that game to put us at first and 15, you know, and then it puts us in third and long because, nothing really great happens on first down or second down. And when you're putting yourself in a position like that against a team like Boise on the blue, I guess that's what they call it, whatever, um, you're going to be up against it. I mean, you can't cause self-inflicted stuff like that to happen and expect to come out of there with a win, and only losing by 11 points, that really stings for as sloppy as Utah State played. I mean, it was agonizing to watch. It really was. I mean, you get a good pass play, and then
Hmm.
procedure penalty. So now you're 1st and 15, and you're up against it again. And then you run the only triple option that I've ever seen them run this year, and Myers picks up 45 yards. And then what happens the very next play? Procedure, false start, whatever it was, 1st and 15. They just kept shooting themselves in the foot and shooting themselves in the foot. And it just, I don't think the whole, that's the easy thing. Oh, coaching change. We need a coaching change. We need a coaching change. Well, it, you, what happens if they do get rid of Wells or whatever? Who's to say that they don't get another Dennehy in here? You know what I mean? I mean, it's not, the grass isn't always greener. I know the program's a lot different than it was back then, but, I think we need to let the rest of the season play out. You know, I don't know what people were expecting at the beginning of the year. Um, I expect them to be bowl eligible, and I honestly think that Utah State will go on a run here. I mean, they can go to Colorado State, get the win, have a bye week, get all the nicks and bruises, healed up a little bit better. That gives Mays more time. Then they come back out of their bye week, and they got Fresno, I do believe.
Yep.
And then the week after that's at home. And the week after that, they got San Diego State. And if anybody watched that game, I was flipping back and forth, and I was watching that game too. Well, San Diego State, they're the awesome, they're so good, they're so good, they're so good. Then they go lay an egg on South Alabama. I mean, that's 2 years in a row that team's beat them, you know. And it doesn't mean that we're going to beat them. It doesn't mean that anybody, they might go undefeated the rest of the year, but they're beatable, you know. Um,
Hmm.
so, and that's at home. And, and then
Yeah,
the
and,
rest of
and
the schedule,
if Utah
it's,
State wins, if Utah State wins out, right? Wouldn't that be a 9-win season? So to get 7 wins would be losing to BYU and San Diego State, which are the two toughest games left.
yeah.
Um, obviously 6 wins would be losing to one more team out of that. Obviously it could be at Wyoming, it could be at Nevada, it could be who knows. But so I mean, I think that's pretty
I really
realistic
expect us.
to beat those teams and beat one of the San Diego State or BYU. I think that's pretty realistic to do, but
I mean, the
they got to
receivers
do
are
it.
coming on pretty strong right now. Um,
Hmm.
they're doing a good job. If we could start consistently running the ball, and we have the guys to do it, for whatever reason they're just not putting it together, or what's going on. I mean, it starts up front,
Right.
and I know we got three starters back, and then the two, we got Hockle and Brooksby. They've been inserted there, and Brooksby, he's had his struggles. I mean, I kind of went off on him about him during that Air Force game. Hockle had his problems against Boise, you know. Um, they all had their
Yep.
problems, and I just think if the more they play, the closer, they should be able to become. And with a downgrade in competition, not taking anything away from Colorado State, but they're not Boise State up front.
Right.
We should be able to run the ball this week. There's no reason that we shouldn't be able to. I'm not saying we're going to run it for 350 yards, 400 yards, but there's no reason that as a team we don't run it for close to 200 yards. There's
I mean, if
really
they
not.
go, if they completely go away from the run like they did against Boise State, that's going to be really alarming as well because if they can't run against Colorado State, who can they run against? So,
Yeah, then we
um,
then then we can talk about that next week and
yeah,
try to figure out what the heck's going on there. But there's no reason Myers throws the ball 50 times. You know what I mean? He just shouldn't have to.
yeah,
And people, oh, Myers can't throw the ball. He can't throw the ball. Well, you throw the ball 50 times, he's going to have a few float on him, and I even said something, give him, even on Twitter, I was like, can't give him a chance,
yeah.
just give him a chance. But
Well,
looking
and
back at,
we've got 20 seconds left to go in this podcast. So I mean, we're gonna cover a lot of other things in the future. But yeah, the Aggies just need to take advantage of those opportunities. That's really what it comes down to is making most of their chances.